Josh Kimball, and this is my vloggins. I'm heading to work where I work as a full-time art director. And then yesterday, I finished Rough for page like 24 of Not Death But Love, which is this, it's called The Strange Supernatural Story of Elizabeth Barrett Browning. And I'm really excited about making progress on the book, but being that there's about 10 months left in the year, I kind of sat down and broke down till I need to deliver. I sat down and broke down like what I need to hit for this month. And I think I need to do like 6 pages by the end of this week. Like by the end of the weekend, I need to have 6 finished pages. And I need to be able to hit that mark every single weekend of this month in order to stay on deadline. And that's a lot. That's ramping up quite a lot from where I'm at. So after I did my live stream yesterday, I went ahead and proceeded with the thumbnail for the next page. And I found a lot of research and stuff like that. And so hopefully tonight while I'm live streaming, we can get a little further on that. I know that tonight I'll be on Comic Book Club, which you can find pretty much online on all streaming platforms, listed as Comic Book Club. And I'm really excited about being on the show. I think that it'll be good. It'll be a good way to promote Jacob's Apartment, but it's going to be interesting doing that fine balance between promoting an existing book, Jacob's Apartment, and then finishing this insane deadline for Not Death But Love. But I think it's feasible, and I might be the delusional guy who's just doing that I think I can kind of thing. But I do actually think it's feasible. I just have to really ramp up my production, and even on nights where I'm like, I finished what I set out to do a little bit before 2, I'm gonna get a little extra sleep. No. If I finish what I set out to do by like midnight, I should still go till about 2, just getting as far as I can on the comic, because really up until the final date for this 230 page graphic novel, which I have 210 left to create, and 208 left to thumbnail and rough, right? Until I'm done with that, until I'm at that clear window where it's like, you know, there's rainbows and butterflies and all this beautiful stuff behind me, that's just what's going to have to happen. Now, I don't think every month's going to be as intense as this month. It's just when I have things like 4th of July and a book signing that kind of take away time from the weekend for me to work, I just need to compensate for that and double down like the following week or the following weeks. So that's kind of the position I'm in, just kind of figuring it out. And I'm really hoping I can knock out like 6 pages this week. It's slightly intimidating, but I don't think it's undoable. That's what I'm getting at. I think it's possible. It's just a matter of like really cracking down and working with the little time that I have. It's going to get complicated too, because this Friday I have a ultrasound for my gallbladder to kind of figure out what's going on with that. And that's going to be an interesting wrench thrown in the spokes as well. But that's kind of where I'm at, and I'm trying to kind of figure out how to do that. I also I found out that the Grove does not like to have graphic novelists that aren't super famous sign for them. So the Grove is checked off the list as a possibility, at least at this point in my career. I don't think I'm big enough to draw a big enough draw at the Grove Barnes & Noble. I reached out to the Last Bookstore, which I absolutely love that store, and thought, man, that would be an amazing place to do a signing. And kind of a similar response where they expect that you can push like 100 books for a signing. And I'm gonna be frank, like I did pretty well for my signing at Barnes & Noble in Lancaster, and with more traffic I probably would have sold more books. But I didn't bring, enough people to sell 100 copies to that event, because honestly, the age I'm at, like in my area, I don't know if I have a support base that'll do that, like locally. A lot of my friends live in Long Beach. A lot of my friends live in different areas of the country, and they all have families and lives and are on vacation or doing stuff. And so I can sell some books, I can sell a pretty decent amount of books, but like 100 books in one sitting on one day is just like a capacity that I can't really promise a bookstore. So I'm gonna have to respond to them and say like, hey, that's not possible. If you guys do any joint events and you want an author to show up, that's cool. But yeah, I can't do that. Or they want you to like fork out like money to do a signing. And I didn't realize that like a lot of authors will just pay to like rent this space and just have on their checklist of things to do that they did a signing, which to me is insane. Like, I'm not going to do that. I could understand paying hundreds of bucks to be at like a convention and then make that back because you have traffic that's specifically people who are going to a comic book convention to buy comics. But I cannot, for the life of me, even begin to comprehend the other kind of scenario there where where like a bookstore expects you to pay them thousands of dollars to do a signing there. No, thank you. I'll do a signing elsewhere. But I will say I still love the Last Bookstore, and I don't mean that to besmirch or talk about where they are as a store. I'm just trying to be really transparent about the process of like promoting a book while I'm doing it. So my goal is every day, if I can. I lost track of this for about a week, especially with TCAF. I just got really busy, but I need to reach out to like one store and one journalist minimum every day. And even if it's a long stretch, in order for me to work, I need to do that. And in order for me to work, like I have to work every day. Obviously, I need to be trying to crank out about 6 pages a week for at least this month. And I mean, that's just what's needed. So yeah, so that's I can get by with about 5 pages, but I think that 6 is ideal to kind of keep us in a really good position. Because if I get 6 done every week this month, that's going to put me a few pages ahead, which is going to be very advantageous for any curveballs like what I'm doing with the ultrasound, right? Where it's like things like that come up, but the comic needs to get made, and I really want to hit the deadline for multiple reasons. Like I could probably, like again, with books like this early on, it's okay to ask for an extension sometimes and things like that, but at the end of the day, the thing is, I don't want to be doing this book for like a couple years from now. Like I got a decent advance for the book, but that advance starts losing a lot of value like the longer it takes for me to execute this book. So yeah, so that's going to be an interesting thing. But I kind of believe that that might be something kind of worth working out or working on. Let's see what we've got here. So we've got 20 pages in. They're all finished. And now we just have to kind of crank out more pages, get a little quicker, maybe even consider that with the compositions. And that in itself is going to get slightly complicated too, because we're in a new location, which is Casa Guidi. But the advantage is, where we're at in the script is Casa Guidi in Italy has like so much reference that I can pull from because they've preserved the location. And this is where historical locations that have been preserved, man, that's a gift to an author. Were I really well off, I could actually go to Casa Guidi, but I'm not, so I'm not going to be able to do that. But what's neat is I can virtually get a lot of information that's very helpful for me when it comes to drawing and working out the comic. So yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. It's even specific enough to where they have like an overhead layout drawing of Casa Guidi, which is really cool. So I'm excited about that. What I'm not excited about is the last page I thumbnailed has a crowd scene toward the end. So it's a crowd scene. It's a new architectural location. It's a beast, but it's also fun. So I think that this is all very, very good stuff. I'm a little overwhelmed, a little intimidated by the deadline, but I also I've been through worse. I got through grad school, and grad school was chaos for the last year. So I kind of think this will be possible. It's just like making it happen that needs to happen. What else? So I have that all on my mind. I am really excited just to be making comics, and I'm excited about the appearance on Comic Book Club tonight. And I think God is leading me somewhere in my life, and I have no idea where, but it's really interesting and fascinating to kind of see it happen. And I'm excited to kind of be along for the ride and try to not let fear control, what's possible. Because again, like, I think that in life, I've talked about this before, and I think I'm going to try to do something on Gary Hodges' channel on like Saturday or whatever. But it's like, I think that God leads us in interesting places in life, and he opens doors and he closes them, and it's not always like things that on their face appear good. It might even be leading you through suffering, which is a hard thing to kind of understand or relate to as a believer. But I firmly believe that each thing is an opportunity for growth and for trust in the provision of the Lord. And I know that's weird, but it's like, that's kind of my take on it as like a weird liberal Christian. Like, I'm not liberal theologically, I'm just liberal like I like other people, and I think people need to have their rights. And politically, I'm very, very left-leaning, and I'm pretty open about that. I wear that pretty openly on my sleeve. But I still, my religion is more than just a religion. It's like, it's a lifestyle to me. It's a belief that I firmly adhere to. And yet, like, also, I'm not like a legalistic believer, where it's like, I think that my behavior is better because I'm a Christian. But I don't have better behavior because I'm a Christian. Does that make sense? Like, I don't think like my conduct's any better than my neighbor's. In fact, quite often I'm much worse, which is probably why I'm in need of salvation and can recognize it. But it's kind of this weird dichotomy where it's like, I don't think that any of my own individual actions are able to save me, nor do I believe I can change my own individual actions. It's just that, like, when I trust God, like, my actions just start kind of changing, and it's just this weird process of like refinement that I think happens when you're a believer. So anyhow, that's on my mind. I'm a little nervous, but I'm trying to kind of look at it like for the opportunity that it is, and then trust in the provision of God and see if this is possible. I think it is. There's cartoonists that put out 24 pages a month, and this is basically like mapping it out. I almost have to be like a Marvel artist when I'm off work, which is kind of insane, but that's just what I have to do to hit this deadline. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting month. It's going to be trying and all sorts of other stuff.
Watch out. Vehicle stopped on shoulder ahead.
But I think it's going to be worth it in the end, to have this like beautiful hardcover book that we worked really hard on. That's like a piece of artwork that tells a story that needed to be told from history, and yeah, it's just definitely going to have to happen somewhat. All right, so that's basically my recap of just some of the stuff that I went through when I ended my stream yesterday. I wanted to say too, I've noticed some mass growth on this YouTube channel, and I really appreciate it. And I just wanted to let you guys know that if you've told somebody about my live streams or my show or my channel, I just really appreciate that. I think it's incredible as an opportunity. Again, like I've been talking about, like this kind of trying to grow like an abundance mindset, and it's like, what a cool opportunity to have a growing YouTube channel that is increasing in subscribers and has an increasing amount of people who show up to hang out on live streams, and hang out with me and keep me company while I'm on this crazy journey to try to get these books done. I just really appreciate it, and I just wanted to say it goes a long way. That goes for my books as well. Like if you've told somebody to pick up Jacob's Apartment or Two Stories, it really makes a difference. And if you haven't yet, I'd encourage you, like, hey, today, before you do anything, just please make a post on your social media that's like, hey, this is a friend of mine, Joshua Kemble. He has this comic book out. You need to pick it up. Because I will say, like, man, indie comics are very reliant on you and your own activity to succeed. Because it's like all of the little purchases are what kind of make these things possible. And if people stop buying indie comics, people stop making indie comics because there's just no industry for them. And I'm noticing this across the board, like there, you know, that it really does make a huge difference. You'd be surprised. One Amazon review for like Jacob's Apartment would go a long way. Like, just leave a review on Amazon or wherever you purchase the book. Like, take the 1 second that you would if you hated the book to mention that you love the book. Because I think a lot of the time, this is a weird thing, but it's like, and I see this in myself too, where if I like hate something, like, and I'm mad about it, it's so easy for me to like post about it, to share about it, to talk to other people about it. And the things I love, it's a lot easier for me to hold them to my chest and just kind of keep them for me. So it's like this weird thing of like, almost like the conundrum of creativity, where it's a lot easier to kind of tear things down than build them up. It goes that way for life and criticism as well, where it's like, it's so much easier if I hated something to like comment and to be tempted to like leave a bad review and that kind of stuff. It actually, I think you have to kind of set forward with intention in life to like try to be the opposite and do like, when was the last time I did a good review? It doesn't even have to be for me. It's just like, consider that. Like, think about it. Be like, I like comic books. When was the last time that I like bought an indie comic or left a good review for an indie comic? When was the last time I wrote up a review and like shared a comic that I really love? And if your answer is like, hey, today, like 5 minutes ago, badass, you're doing the right thing. But if it's not, you know, it's just something to consider. Something I need to consider too, as I'm in the belly of this beast of like needing to plug out pages. So yeah, that's just some thoughts, and I will see you guys on the next vlog. Bye.